Hi, welcome to this Excel and Power BI video tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show us how to calculate average daily total using the DAX function. Therefore, let's get started. The average daily totals allows us to compare trend across different time period or across different categories of field. Now, let's see how to do this in Excel and also in the Power BI. Now, in Excel, we have this sample sales data, which is officially formatted as an Excel table, and we have given a meaningful sales table name. So what I'm going to do next is to get this data into the Power Pivot or the data model and also create a pivot table. Now, to get this data into the data model, you can click on this Power Pivot tab and click on Add to the data model. But to use one stone to kill two birds, click on Insert tab and click on Pivot Table. And of course, we have this pivot table range box coming up, and the name of the table is recognized. So we can choose new sheet or existing sheet. Let's put it in an existing sheet and select the location. Very importantly, we need to check this, add this data to the data model. Well, that is what allows us to create our explicit DAX measures. Now, we need to check this and let's click on OK. All right, so we can see that pivot table field is ready, and of course we can also see the data inside our Power Pivot, that is the data model. Okay, so there are two ways in which you can actually create DAX measures. You can actually do that in the measure grid inside the Power Pivot window, or you can even come to the pivot table and right click on name of the table and choose add measures. Now let's go back to the Power Pivot window and let's create all our DAX measure. Actually, we need three of them. So the first one is the total sales explicit DAX measure. Now just select one of the cell in the measure grid and come to the formula bar and type in the name of the measure, total sales. Then we put in the colon, equal sign, and then we use the sum aggregate DAX function. Now it requires the column name, so I want to select this entire total column. So we have the name of the table, and of course the name of the column is inside the square bracket. So we can close off the sum aggregate DAX function, click enter, and let's apply in the dollar currency formatting, and we have 1,827,000,000 plus. Now we need another measure, and the next one is we want to count the distinct dates. Okay, now that's going to be based on the date column in this place. Now let's do that. Type in the name of the DAX measure, count of distinct dates. Okay, then semicolon, equal sign, and we're going to use the distinct count DAX function. Press the tab key. I want to get the name of the column, which is the date column. Close off the distinct count, click enter. Now based on the entire 9,754 records, there are 5,476 count of distinct dates. Okay, now the last measure we're going to create is the average daily total, which is to take the total sales divide by the count of distinct dates. Now to do that, you can actually use the divide DAX function. So let's call the name of the title average daily total, then semicolon, equal sign, divide function. Now for the numerator, we need the sales amount DAX measure, so I've clicked on it. And for the denominator, we want the count of distinct day, this number. And then for the alternate result, which is an optional argument, I'm going to put in the blank DAX function, close off the divide, click enter, and let's apply appropriate currency formatting. Now for the average daily total, the value is 333,687.56 Now let's click on this switch icon to go back to Excel, and wow, we have the three measures ready. Now let's create our table or report. I'm going to drag the date and drop in the rows. Okay, and it automatically groups the date. Now let's just get out some of this field. Let me get this one out, the quarter, the month, and the quarter. Now we have the year, and let's take our total sales measure first, followed by the count of distinct dates, and followed by the average daily total. So we drop it below. Now, based on this data set, you can see that the total sales for year 2000 is $84,860,310, and the count of distinct days is 265 days, which are unique, and the average daily total is 320,227. Now you can actually group this. So let's click on any of this cell under the date and come to the pivot table, analyze contextual ribbon tab, and click on group selection. Now let's want to group further by quarters and year, which I removed not quite long. You can actually see for the first quarter of year 2000, the total is 15,959,607 for the first quarter of year 2000. That's the total sales, and we have 59 counts of distinct dates, and of course the average daily total is $270,501. Okay, so this is how to see the trend across different time period. Now we also said you can actually see across categories. Now let's say I don't want the date. I want to work with brand, category, or field. Just drop here. Now you can actually see that for the bike, the total sales is $65,502,596, and the count of distinct day is 327 days, and of course, which represents $119,702. So this is essentially how to do this in Excel. Now let's switch to the Power BI and do the same thing. Now we have the same data in the Power BI, so we need to create our DAX measures. So in the Tables, Tools, Contextual Ribbon tab, click on New Measure, and we need to give the name for the new measure. So I'm going to call this one quickly, total sales, and put in the equal sign, and you can use the sum aggregate function, and we want the sales table, and we want the total column. Close the sum, click enter, and we can apply appropriate currency formatting. So let's put in dollars, and let's get this onto 2 decimal places. Okay, let's take that one out. Cool. Now let's create another measure, which is the count of distinct dates. Okay, so let's put on count of distinct days equal sign, then we use the distinct count, and that's going to be based on the sales table, and we want the date column. Close of the distinct count, and then we have that already here. Okay, and finally we want to create one measure, which is the average daily total. Average daily total, which is going to be equal sign. We want the divide function. The numerator is going to be the total sales measure that we created, okay, comma, and the denominator is the count of distinct dates. Then for the alternate result, you can use the blank and close the divide. Click enter, and let's apply appropriate currency formatting. And let's come to the report view, and let's use our matrix, which is just like pivot table. Okay, and let's expand this. Now for the rows, we want the date column, so we have the date column here. Just check this, and it comes into the rows. And for the values, we want the total sales measure first, followed by the count of distinct dates, and followed by the average daily total. And let's format our matrix. So come to the grid, and let's increase the size of the text. Let's make it 15 to be more pronounced. Okay, so we can actually see that we achieved the same outcome. For year 2000, we recorded 84,860,000 plus, which gave us 265 unique or distinct dates, and of course the average daily total is 320,227. Now let's get rid of these extraneous decimals. I don't like them. So come to the average daily total, and let's use 2. Okay, now we have narrowed it down to the good. Okay, so we can see, you can even just click on this plus icon to collapse and to see the quarters. So for the first quarter, you can actually see that for the first quarter we recorded $15,959,607. Now when you check this box again, we drill down further, you can see the next hierarchy, which are the month, and for the month January we recorded 4,782,216, which gave us 20 distinct dates, and of course the value of average daily total is $239,110. So this is essentially how to calculate average daily total in Microsoft Excel and in Power BI. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give a thumbs up, comment in the section below, share, and very importantly, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Thank you and bye for now. Cheers.